Coming up on today's episode of Technoid, the Google Pixel 4a looks like it's being pushed to July. I'll have all the details in today's episode. Also, it looks like OnePlus is no longer partnered with McLaren. I'm going to explain that little story. And also, Samsung introduces something similar to the S8 Active, those rugged-built Samsung Galaxy phones, but they have a new variant for the military. I will explain that in today's episode. All of that on today's episode, so stay tuned. What's happening, everybody? Michael here. Welcome back to Technoid. And my goodness, what happened with yesterday's video? Now, if you didn't see yesterday's video, I did get a little bit of mixed reaction. So basically, I made a video talking about the Sony Xperia 1 Mark II. I discussed how I think the phone is great, it's everything, but the price to me just really kind of fell short. I was upset and disappointed, and most of the response are pretty mixed. Some people agree, some people don't. Listen, you can't please everybody, but I just want to shout out this one user, because while he did write a lot, he did give a lot of fair points. We did have a back and forth, but we eventually didn't bash each other. We just kind of presented our points, and while we couldn't really agree on the solid premise, we did reach common ground in certain areas. And I want to shout out this man because he actually is one of the better users that I've ever had a debate with. So shout out to this man. It was great to debate with you, and I really appreciate you taking the time to present your evidence, because sometimes, guys, it's better than just calling names at other people.
No.
I'm just saying. But welcome back, everybody. Today's a new day. The video's done. It's over with. People are gonna still hate it, like it. It doesn't matter. I'm on today's episode, so enough talking. Let's get it going. So story number one, first story up. Before we talk about the Google Pixel 4a, let's get the side stories out. So first, let's start up with Samsung. Now, as you know, Samsung makes some pretty good smartphones, some questionable, but there is one specific smartphone that most people have been looking at. Mostly they're rugged build, active phones. I don't know if you guys remember back when the S8 and the S9 active things, phones like that, where they had a solid rugged back. It was an exclusive to AT&T. Well, Samsung has introduced a next generation variant, this time being a tactical version of the S20, and it is designed solely for the military. Now hold on, they're not gonna hack your stuff, but this phone is built and designed to withstand pretty much the biggest amount of damage you can inflict on a smartphone. Not just drops, not just being scratched, but literally being impacted, thrown, possibly in an explosion. I don't know how accurate that is, but that's incredible when Samsung really takes their time to make these super rugged phones. And while most people aren't going to buy those, it's always interesting to know that they've got the military and the frontliners in their heart, and I definitely give a lot of respect to that. So Samsung, great job. So now that we moved out of Samsung, let's head over to OnePlus. So taking a look at OnePlus, something is going on with OnePlus, and I can't quite put my finger on it, but it looks like they will be distancing themselves away from McLaren. Now, as you know, McLaren is basically a race car promotion that OnePlus is using. Now, McLaren itself is a car company, and usually McLaren makes some sporty looking cars, so it's pretty obvious that they wanted to go in with OnePlus and make special edition phones. So far, they've made three: the 6T, the 7T Pro 5G, and the 7 Pro 5G McLaren, whatever it was. Probably got my facts. It's probably just those three. But it looks like McLaren may actually be out of OnePlus. So according to 9to5 Google, it looks like OnePlus has removed the McLaren partnership page out of their website, and McLaren themselves have dropped the OnePlus on their end. Now, speculations are saying that either they could not reach an agreement to continue their partnership, or that it was just really just time up. Now, I don't know the exact details of what's going on here, but if you take a look at what OnePlus is doing with their special edition phone that they unveiled, with the weird leather cover, with the crazy technology, it shows that they're trying to move past the McLaren edition, trying to use that as a gimmick to sell a special edition phone when they can do it themselves. Now, do I think that this causes a buzz with them? Not necessarily, but I will definitely be taking a look at this story when more information is presented, and I will definitely be updating you guys on this one. So that's it for OnePlus. Now let's get to the main story, the Google Pixel 4a. So taking a look at the Google Pixel 4a, I can never get a break with this phone. Guys, I have been covering this phone for so long. I just wonder, when is it gonna come out? Well, it looks like it's gonna be pushed back and it's gonna affect Google's lineup. So, the man, the weirdo, no, I'm just playing, not the weirdo, the beard, the Jern of 2020, FUPTA host, John the P dog. You know what? I sound so awkward right now. Let me give you the news. So basically, John has posted on Twitter. Basically, it's now going to be an Android reliable source. So we'll see how that plays out. I think it'll be all right. Basically giving out most of the information that we already know about the Pixel 4a, that we already knew that there was going to be no 5G. However, we know that there are two color variants, just black and barely blue. The phone was scheduled to be announced for July 13th. That is the new scheduled date. It was pushed back from June because for some reason they just could not get things working out. And the market launch for the phones, the just black will be available August 6th and barely blue will be available August 1st. And at the very bottom of the tweet, he writes the Pixel 5 is likely pushed back also. Now, why do I believe this? Well, it's simple. We have something going on right now. I can't say it because YouTube's gonna take away my sponsorship and, monetization. But it's common sense. The phone has been pushed back for a reason. We don't see much information. There is no I/O coming out. For most part, the truth is this phone is pushed back because of what's happening. And also, if you wonder why the Pixel 5 would be pushed out, look at the release date for barely blue. If that is true, which I am betting a couple dollars it is. Usually in October, that's when the Pixel 5 comes out. So by releasing the second version of the 4a in October, it makes up for the release date of the Pixel 5, and you could push it to either November or December. Now take a look at the smartphone market as a whole. A lot of things are getting delayed, from the iPhone delayed to October, November, to products being pushed back from press events. There are a lot of things going on right now that are affecting the market, and I've said this a million times already. I'm not going to reiterate it, but the basics that you need to know: the Pixel 4a was supposed to be ready to go last month and sometime this month. The problem was, because of what's happening right now and also a bunch of delays with the phone, it's basically due not just to the market, but it's also due to what's going on out in China. They cannot get the supply chain to work. John acknowledges it, but the thing is that some of the units are ready to go, which would explain why the launch would be in August and announced in July. They get as much as they can make of one specific unit and then focus on the other. Look, I can go back and forth and keep talking as much as I want, but it's not going to change the fact that this phone is delayed and we're going to have to wait a little bit longer than we thought. But honestly though, the 4a will do fine. I've said it before, I've said it again. For $350, the phone is going to be a pretty good price point. I just hope that most of you now believe me with the 5G. And that is it for today's episode of Technoid. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, hit that like button. If you disliked the video, hit the dislike button. Help circulate my videos on YouTube. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Take care, everybody, and peace.